Hey guys, it's Dasha and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the most overused words in English that you should stop using right now. And I will of course give you alternative words that you can use instead. So if you're looking to expand your vocabulary and improve your English skills in general, then stick around for the rest of this video. The first word you're most likely overusing is literally. In fact, this word is so overused that it has become almost like a tick. People tend to use this word as an intensifier rather than its actual meaning as it was originally meant to be. But if you want to use an intensifier to emphasize something, you could say freaking, ridiculously, incredibly, or unbelievably, depending on the context. For example, instead of saying I was literally so tired yesterday, you could say I was incredibly tired yesterday. The next word is like. And I'm not talking about the filler word like, as in like it was like the greatest thing ever. I'm talking about the verb. But then again, the word like as a filler word is pretty annoying and overused. Now, there are lots of ways in which you can say that you like something depending on what it is that you want to say that you like. If you like a person, you could use the word admire, adore, value, or even fancy if you like them in the romantic sense. If instead you like a thing, you could say, I really appreciate art, or I enjoy going to the opera, or even something as simple as I love watching movies. Okay, so next stop is the word awesome. The dictionary meaning of the word awesome is causing feelings of fear or wonder. But these days, this word is used as a general descriptor, kind of like cool or great. Instead of always using the word awesome, try getting into the habit of saying words like wonderful, fantastic, excellent, when the word good is just not good enough. Next word is amazing. Amazing! Again, a very overused word that actually means causing overwhelming surprise or astonishment. But just like awesome, it's used to describe something that's great or cool and is used as a general positive descriptor like great or cool. Here's my tip. Every time you feel like saying the word amazing, try to substitute it with a word like brilliant, beautiful, exceptional, fascinating, wonderful, or impressive. Important. Important is of course a very useful word, and it's one of the first words that we learn when we study English. But if you overuse it in both speaking and writing, you risk sounding boring and just very repetitive. So other synonyms of important that you can use are crucial, like the scientists made a very crucial discovery for climate change. In this context here, you could also substitute the word crucial with significant, and so significant is another synonym of important. Other words that you can use are essential, major, and vital. The next word is basically. We tend to overuse basically as a verbal filler, like I basically didn't like the movie, or I basically barely ever do my homework. It's used to describe something in a simple and general way, which isn't entirely wrong, but if you use it way too many times, it loses its meaning. On the other hand, if you want to refer to the main characteristic of something, you could use the words essentially, in essence, or fundamentally. For example, somebody asks you, what's the difference between the iPhone X, or I guess it's called the iPhone 10, and the iPhone 11? You could say, nothing really, they're essentially the same. Moving on to very. When you want to emphasize an adjective with the word very, like for example, very clean, you could use a synonym instead. Another way of saying very clean is immaculate, as in her house was immaculate. It means that it was just completely clean and spotless. Likewise, you could say this dress is gorgeous instead of this dress is very pretty. But if you can't find a synonym, fear not, I've got you covered. An alternative to very that you could use is an adverb like considerably, or absolutely, extremely, incredibly, particularly, depending on the context. If you want to learn more about how to expand your vocabulary and how to substitute the word very, I will be making a video about it in a few weeks' time. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and not miss that video. Honestly. Again, if you don't want to sound repetitive and you want to diversify your vocabulary, try using words like genuinely, quite frankly, or even admittedly instead of honestly. You could say something like, I genuinely loved the movie that we watched last night. The word interesting. Another way of describing something as interesting is fascinating, captivating, or intriguing. So yes, that documentary you watched last night on Netflix could have been interesting, but you could also say that you found it fascinating. Moving on to unbelievable. We usually use it as an intensifier to say something like, I ate an unbelievable amount of food last night, which is technically true, meaning I ate a lot of food. Rather than using unbelievable here, you could say I ate a ridiculous amount of food last night. In general, if you want to use the word unbelievable as an intensifier, try saying something like staggering, inconceivable, or astonishing. The word nice. My English teacher used to say, nice isn't such a nice word. When people say something was nice, it implies that they weren't bothered to think of any other better word. You can replace nice with a nice descriptive... Oh, there I go again, I used nice. You can replace the word nice with a descriptive adjective like delightful, wonderful, or superb. You could say, this meal was delightful instead of this meal was nice. Next word is thing. The word thing is very generic and very broad, and it sounds really awkward when you're talking about something and you're constantly referring to it as a thing. Try to use a synonym of whatever it is that you're talking about. Let me give you an example. You want to talk to your colleague about a few things. You could say, hey, I wanted to run a few items by you today, or there's a few points I wanted to discuss with you today. See what I did there? Or let's say you're talking about something like global warming and you're referring to it as a thing. You could refer to it by calling it an environmental crisis or even an issue. It's still better sounding than a thing. But if you don't know the exact word and you want to jokingly show your ignorance about it, you could say thingamabob, whatchamacallit, or thingamajig instead of thing. Don't overuse it though, and it's definitely not a word you can write in an essay. Next word or words is kind of or sort of. It's okay to use kind of or sort of in informal situations like when you're talking to friends. But if you're writing an email or an essay, you can replace them with somewhat, rather, or slightly. So, for example, rather than saying, I sort of understood your previous email, you could say, I somewhat understood your previous email. Last but not least, good. Just like nice, good isn't a good word to use all the time. The alternatives to it are outstanding, fascinating, decent, terrific, top-notch, excellent. And that's really it from me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it useful. And if you did, let the YouTube algorithm know by hitting that like button. And if you're learning English, make sure to subscribe to my channel and I will see you in my next video. Bye!